Ladies and gentlemen, hope we're doing good. If you're in sales or if you're someone who has any sort of business to consumer offer, this video is going to be for you. This is a very special conversation that I had with a friend, with somebody that I know on a more close level. This guy closes over $200,000 a month in sales. So $200,000 goes through one person every single month. So like let's say you're at 10K a month, let's say you're at 20K a month, times that by 10, 15 amount of volume. This guy knows how to actually go about that, the actual consumer psychology behind sales. So this is gonna be a very interesting conversation. If you're one of my fitness coaches, sit back, relax. This conversation is more tailored towards you. If you're somebody else and you're selling a B2C offer, this is still a lot of very unique insights regarding sales, consumer psychology, etc. So let's jump into it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm here with Mr. Sham.
Yes, sir.
Um, so Sham is a very special guest. I have known him personally for a little bit, and we actually went to Miami not too long ago. This guy, we connected on we connected on Twitter and TikTok, and then he shot me his phone number. I gave him a call. He's like, "Yo, I'm going to Miami. Don't know this guy." He's like, "Yo, come." I'm like, "Who the hell is this guy?" But whatever, let's do it. Right? He's like, this is how much it is. Shoot me the money. Let's go. Shot him the money. Went, and then it was a blast. And then obviously throughout that trip, got to understand Sham a little bit more, and he knows a lot about sales. He's been in the sales game for quite a while now. He I want to dive into that a little bit more, but in terms of sales and in terms of actually understanding consumer behavior, etc., psychology of actually having to get someone from I don't know who the fuck you are to giving them $5,000 by end of call. This guy knows what he's talking about. So that's why I got him here. So um last month you closed about give me some in terms of like numbers. Like I know with your offer right now, how much are you roughly like doing a month in terms of volume?
Yeah, my average would be about anywhere between 200 to 220K per month. My best month ever was 260.
Yeah,
My worst month ever was like 165 in this offer specifically.
that's crazy. That's crazy. So just imagine this for a second. Let's say you're watching this video and let's say you're making 10K a month, right? You're closing $10,000 a month is going through you. You are the transactor of 10,000 a month.
Yeah,
Imagine $260,000 going through
right.
one person, right?
Yeah.
So you know a lot about that, and that's kind of, obviously why we're here and etc. Um, so yeah, so we got introduced, and before we kind of jump into like obviously specifics in terms of like, sales tactics, etc., which obviously we're gonna get into, but I want to hear a little bit about kind of like if you want to just tell your story of how you kind of got to this point. You're a fairly young guy as well. Just kind of run me through like start to finish how you kind of got here.
Yeah, I'll keep this short and sweet. So basically, ever since high school, I was never really super into school. I was never the type of guy where I was like, really pushing myself in school, I would say. But when COVID happened, I was like 16 and I was like, okay, like the world shut down, school's online, life is pretty easy. Let's make some money. I don't know why. I was like, let's make some money. And I got into reselling. I was reselling sneakers, PS5s. I was doing botting for sneakers. Like I hit one of these nights, I hit a off-white Jordan 4 drop where I bought it for $200, flipped it literally the next day for like $2,200. Ever since then, it compounded. And then my first year of university, reselling kind of died down. Like after COVID, after a while, reselling was just dead. So I was like, okay, what's the next move I can make? I started a TikTok. I ran up my TikTok to like 15K followers. It was in like the self-improvement men's health niche. I was like, okay, cool. I'm gonna, sell my own fitness packages. I sold a couple fitness packages, kind of what you guys do, right? I just the thing that really resonated with me the most was the sales aspect. So I was okay, I'm gonna go super deep into sales. I ended up buying a mentorship for sales, ended up getting a job through that mentorship, and then I've just been sticking with high ticket sales since. Done over $1.5 million cash collected in about a year and a quarter.
I see.
Yeah.
I see. Okay. And for you, why did like, for your personality type, why did sales kind of resonate with you?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think more than anything for me, I just like to challenge myself, right? I was a very shy kid growing up, and then seeing in sales, speaking to a complete stranger, like building a rapport with them getting to know you better, you explaining the value, creating a gap, and then them being like, okay, here's my credit card, charge me for 5K. That is just like the best feeling in the world. Like the rush you get from closing a sale, I don't know many feelings like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I remember when I was first starting as well, I had this like conception because I didn't close any sales, and I was like, when I close a sale, it's gonna feel so good, and I'm just gonna sit in the corner of my room and like cry because it's gonna feel so good, right? And then obviously when it happens, it's like, oh my God, this feels amazing, and then like a day later, you're like, eh, right?
Like
So
you need the hit again, right? Like that's what it is. Like you feel it once for 20 seconds, you're like you feel on top of the world, and like I need that again.
yeah, like so for you, did you have like a specific moment where you're like, oh shit, like I actually can take someone who like doesn't know anything about me, get
Mhm.
them to give me $6,000, and then like wow, this is kind of a superpower. Like, have you had it?
Yeah.
Did you have like a moment?
Yeah, I wouldn't say I had a moment, but I definitely had a realization probably like a couple months in when I just got really good, right? I would hop on offers and I'd be the top two guy instantly, right? Um, and then I just kind of realized, okay, like I'm good. And the reason why I'm good is not even to boast myself. It's just that I take criticism really well. Like I don't have like a massive ego. If like someone's better than me at sales, I'm more than willing to take their advice, implement it ASAP, and then see the
Mm,
result. Like ASAP, right?
mhm.
Versus other people, they kind of have to filter through their egos, like, ah, this is not good, this is not good. I'm like, I don't know. You're telling me it's good, I'll do it. Um, and it works most times.
Yeah, yeah. Let me ask you this, like for people who don't know a lot about sales, like obviously sales is like a never-ending game. Like, you know a lot, but like that's subjective in a sense, right? So like you're always learning more or whatever. But for you, I'm curious, like, what do you think are some like in terms of like when you were starting out, advice you would give to your younger self if you were to just give like the spark notes of like avoid this, avoid this, avoid this? Because honestly, when you mentioned ego, a lot of people are like, I was talking with this fitness coach the other day, and they're like, no, I always assume the close, and it always works. It's like, brother, you're making 5K a month. Like, let's get her going here, right? So run me through that.
Yeah. What I wouldn't do, okay, it's a great question. Let me think about this for a second. Well, number one, you definitely don't want to make the sale about you and your product, right? That's
Mhm.
like one biggest thing. The sale is not you convincing them to buy the product. The sale is you convincing them that they have a problem that they need to solve, and the product is just a solution to that. That's it, right? So the entire sales process, the way I think about it is I'm just trying to create a gap from where they are to where they want to be. That's it, right? If someone is unhealthy and they're overweight and they should lose weight, but they're coming on the sales call acting like nothing's wrong with their life. Well, there's no reason for them to fix the problem. There needs to be a gap from where they are to where their desired outcome is, where they need a six pack and 20 girlfriends and penthouse in Miami. Like that's a gap, right? And that is what
Mhm.
your product fix. And I think that's like the biggest thing what you need to do and what you shouldn't do. Like, don't let people dismiss their situation because the more you let them kind of feel like there's nothing wrong, the less they need your product or service or whatever. And that's just kind of doing you doing them a disservice as well, right? Because you're just letting them lie to themselves. Um, so yeah,
I see. Okay, so for you then, it's really like calling them out respectfully in a sense. That's like a big piece of advice you would give to your
yeah,
younger self. You didn't.
calling them out, not necessarily. I would say more like creating a gap, like showing, like asking really good questions. Is like making the gap so wide where they're like, oh shit, like I didn't even realize like my situation was so fucked. Can I swear on
Yeah,
here?
yeah, yeah. It's great. Yeah, for sure.
Can I swear on here? I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah. No, 100%. Yeah,
Cool.
swear, fucking swear away.
Okay.
It's going on YouTube. Yeah. So, okay. Um, and let me ask you this. So, like, I, so I'm a little bit different in terms of like my outlook on sales. I've done sales cold, like I did a lot of cold calls, like cold calling gyms, cold outbound, all that bullshit. But I have more of like a marketing lens on things. Um, and I've hired a lot of like appointment setters and whatnot. And I ask every appointment setter, I ask this one question because I honestly believe this with all my heart. I think every salesperson has kind of like a general philosophy of how they go about selling. And I do think that that's kind of somewhat unique and individual to the salesperson. Okay. A lot of people will do certain tactics that they learn from people and they'll like fully endorse that identity, right? So for you, run me through like kind of like your method, like
Yeah.
the sham method, and kind of
Uh,
like more of I understand, you went through the process of you had mentors, you did a few offers, but like how that came about
yeah.
specifically.
Yeah. Like, do you want me to give you my sales process, like kind of how I walk through calls?
Like not really how you walk through calls, like kind of your general like scope of like kind of yeah, you could, sure. Yeah, yeah.
I'm literally going to give you the framework that I walk through calls with. Okay. First of all, I always start with an intro. Right. By the way, I always have this in front of me. It's like literally in the notepad here. I always have it here. And this doesn't leave this desk. So, first of all, I always start with an intro. Okay.
Hmm.
Introduce yourself, break the ice. Like you can't be so freaking cold. Or, okay. The prospect jumps the call. Okay, cool. What made you book a call? Like it's too fast. You need to like kind of slow it down, introduce yourself. It doesn't have to be too long. And it shouldn't be too long, but introduce yourself, then lay down the agenda, right? What is going to
Hmm.
happen on the call? You have to lay that down because if not, then the call is a back and forth, right? The call shouldn't be a back and forth. The call is a way for you to basically ask them questions and them giving you ammo, and then you're using the ammo to pitch them, right? So then you have to lay down an agenda. Typically, how I do these calls, just gonna ask you a few questions, get to know you a bit better, figure out like where you are, what your goals are, what you're looking to do, and if we can even help you. Sound fair? Cool. Basically, just got to agree what the call is gonna be like right there, right? Then I want to get into situational questions like what is going on in their life right now, where they are, why they're on the call, what the problem is, what is happening right now.
Here, let me ask you a question. I'm gonna cut you
Yeah,
off quickly.
yeah.
Let's say you set the agenda and they give you resistance, or you can tell they're like a little bit like hesitant.
Hmm.
Do you pass and just go to the next, or do you make sure that that checkbox is checked?
There really shouldn't be any resistance when you're dropping the agenda, right? Because it's just pretty chill. Like, hey, I'm just gonna ask you a few questions, just kind of even figure out if we can help you. Is that okay? Right? It's supposed to be super chill, but that's a micro commitment right there, right? So give me an example, like what kind of resistance you would get for an agenda.
Okay, so so one of my clients, his name's Adam.
Mhm.
Um and he sent me one of his call recordings, and he was trying this new sales tactic, whatever, that he probably learned from online, some YouTube video. And it was pretty much hey, by the end of the call, you're gonna give me a yes or a no. I don't want to hear think about it.
Yeah.
And then the guy obviously was like taken back from it. He's like, sure. But even me personally, like I'll get kind of assholes on the phone and they're like, cold audience per se, and they're like, so for you, like, I guess just try to keep it super chill, just like, hey, this is what we're gonna be doing. Is that cool? Yep, let's go. Type of
Yeah,
thing.
yeah, exactly. You got to make it super chill, especially with cold audiences, because I sell to a lot of cold audiences as well, right? Not really cold outbound, but more like cold leads from paid ads. Like they're still closable. Like it's like a lot of people have the perception that you need organic leads who've watched like 70 hours of your content, they've read your books, like they've done every research about you, and they should just come on the call and pay you. Like that's nice. That's not how most of your buyers in the world are gonna be, right? So,
Exactly.
and also like every buyer has resistance coming on a sales call, right? Like even if you look at like your own patterns, when you jump on a sales call, you're like I'm about to get sold, right? Like, oh, this guy's gonna try and squeeze me out of something. You want
Yeah,
to lower that as much as possible. Like, you want it to feel like a conversation where we actually give a shit about them because we do. Like, you're asking questions about them because you care about helping this person. That's it. There's nothing to feel bad about then when you pitch and you objection handle because you're literally helping this person out, right? And then you also don't have to be so schizo at the start, saying, "Hey, give me yes or no, no, think about it."
yeah. Do you think if you come from another frame of like, oh, I'm just trying to make a quick buck, do you think it's harder to close them?
I think so. I think so, right? Obviously, there's nuances and everything. I'm sure some people can just like kind of bury that down. Doesn't have to come out. For me, I always like to think about, this person is coming on the call, like they've taken their time out. They have a problem they want to fix. I know my product can help them out. So that's just like my moral obligation to help them out, you know?
For sure, for sure. But especially, oh my God, dude, have you been in, this is kind of off topic, but like rent's due or bills are due and you're like, fuck, I gotta make this sale. And it's like
Yeah.
it's just a game of who wants it more, who's gonna
Yeah.
let go.
I think for me, like when that comes out for me, it's like so basically at the end of the month, we always have like a top spot on our roster.
Yeah.
And that shit drives me so competitive, man. I'll be behind by like 4K, I'll be ahead of 5K, and I'm like, I need to have a big day, so I'm like ahead and I can breathe and I can be the top guy. That's just for an ego boost more than anything, but yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Okay, so sorry, we were at the point, so we're talking about introduction.
Yeah.
Okay, so just to summarize then, just keep it chill, set the agenda, just get a yes, and then move on.
Yeah, exactly. Intro, agenda, situational. So you ask about the situation, like what's going on, what made you book a call with us today, what have you done to try and fix this problem so far, why hasn't it been fixed so far? Like this is where we're just trying to figure out what is going on right now,
Yeah.
right? And a keynote I'll give here, you always want to go a layer deeper than what they're giving you, right? So if they say, hey, I'm just looking for new ways to make money, oh, that's awesome. How come? Right?
Hmm.
Like people accept surface level answers a lot, and I've seen that a lot in sales reps because I've done call recordings for so many guys. It's very easy to accept surface level answers, but that's not how you build real rapport. You build real rapport by actually getting deeper into their problems and actually understanding them, right? So you need to be able to just ask good follow-up questions and go kind of a layer deeper than they're giving you in the first place. Um, so yeah,
Hmm.
get into situational. After situational, you get into vision, right? What is their actual goal, right? What do they want? So we got to where they are. What is their actual goal, right?
Hmm.
Again, so if you could wave a magic wand in 6 months, where would you be at? Okay, here. What would this allow you to do? How would life be different, right? Once we paint a magical picture of where they want to be, okay. So what's been holding you back, right? So now
Hmm.
there's
What's the
now,
barrier?
yeah. Why are you here, right? Why hasn't this happened yet? Um, this is where a lot of the selling is done, right? Because this is where a lot of people lie to themselves too. They'll be like, "Oh, this happened, this happened, this happened." This is where a lot of unspoken objections will come out too, and
Hmm.
it's where you deal with objections before you deal with it after the pitch, right? So here's where you're like, "Hey, someone says, hey, I didn't have the time to do it." Oh, okay, no worries. You're telling me you didn't have like a couple hours a day to go to the gym and like just meal prep, right? Like
Yeah.
just super casual, super nice, just confused. Like you didn't have that time.
Hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
let's say someone says, I wasn't really sure what the best way to lose weight was. Okay. So you said you tried keto, fasting, and everything like that, but none of them work for you,
Yeah.
right? Just try and relate to them, chill out with them, but you want to figure out like the challenge here, right? Once you figure out the challenge here, then you want to go into the consequential questions, which is what happens if we don't make a change, right?
Hmm.
So Mr. Prospect, if nothing changes, if you keep doing exactly what you're doing right now, you keep eating, 70 bags of Lay's and, burgers, McDonald's every night, you're not, working out, nothing happens. Like, what does that look like?
Yeah.
And then you're painting like the worst case scenario, right? So now
Hmm.
look at the roller coaster of emotion. You start off where they are, where they want to be, why they haven't done it yet, what it looks like if they don't do anything. And then after that is where you really want to gain some commitments, right? Okay, so just so I'm aware, it seems like you really want to make this change, you really want to get to your goal. Do you have the time now to put into it? Yes. Okay, and if everything makes sense, like is this something you're looking to get started with, very, very soon? Or how soon are you looking to get something like this started so you can actually reach XYZ outcome so that you can have XYZ result? Right? You want to gain some mini commitments here. Again, you're not getting them to, you're not buying, you're not selling them here, and they're not buying here, but they're giving you commitments that won't be objections later on, right? Gain some commitments here. Then I even remove some objections, right? So I say, why do this now? Why not 6 months ago? Right. And I do even like, so I saw a lot of biz op opportunities, right? So I'll kind of start naming other biz ops. But okay, there's so many ways to make money online, right? You can do this, this, and this. Why not do any of these? And then like they're justifying to you why your method is better, right? Say I think the same could go for fitness. Like there's so many ways to lose weight. You can do keto, fasting, yada yada yada. Why not do those,
Hmm.
right? And then they're gonna start kind of justifying to you why they want to do your thing. And then from there, just pitch.
And then objections, and then close.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
So obviously, like with sale, like with the actual sales process of like start to close, there's like a million and one things that like, obviously it's just not, hey, follow this template. Like you actually have to do it and sell and get on a million sales calls before you're actually good at it as well.
yeah.
But I have a few kind of specific questions that I have jotted personally as well. So when you talk about digging deep on some sort of desire, more in the situational where situation questions. Run me through that. Like I'm curious, like how deep do you go
Yeah.
is there like a point where you're like, okay, this is good? Because sometimes with a cold audience, even me personally, and I know fitness people can relate, get on a call, hey, why are you looking to lose weight? Oh, I just want to lose some weight, look good, feel good. Oh, why do you want to look good, feel good?
Yeah.
Oh, just want to lose weight.
Yeah.
What? I just want to lose weight.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's normal, right? Because like people don't want to talk about like their problems. Like it's just not really like a comfortable thing to talk about. And you have to be comfortable getting uncomfortable. So like a really, really awesome cue that one of my mentors gave me was if you can say so what to their problem, if they tell you their problem and you can just say so what, you haven't gone deep enough. That's like a really
Mm,
good mental cue, right? So if you say I want to look good, feel good, so what? Like why? Why does that matter? Why don't you feel good, look good right now?
mhm,
Right?
mm,
And you just want to kind of peel back the layers. And honestly, this is where like the most of the sale is done. Like you need to get them to admit something is wrong with their life. Because if they don't, there's no reason to fucking buy. That's it. Right? Um, so yeah, this is where like the real sales is done. Everything else is like, of course, very, very important. But I feel like situational and vision and challenge, like these three steps, this is where like the bulk of the sales is done. So you have to go a level deeper. So why don't we take a scenario of someone who wants to lose weight, right? I want to look good, feel good. Okay, awesome.
mm.
Awesome. How long have you been wanting to do that? I've been wanting to look good and feel good for like 6 months now. Okay. Do you feel better and look better now? A little bit. Oh, awesome. So it's working, right? They just said a little bit. You're like, is it working? It's kind of working. Awesome. Why don't you just stick with it? Oh, because it stopped working. Oh, how did it stop working? Again, like you're just trapping them in their own lives. You're just trapping them to get them to admit something is wrong. And it's not
Mhm.
about like a lot of people, I don't know, might have like a wrong perception of this. Like you are getting to the truth. You just don't want to accept lies, right? It's all that digging deep is.
Yeah, yeah. Because I guess the truth is very subjective, right? It's like to the user. It's not like the objective truth. So like you're just really trying to pin down that barrier per se, right?
Yeah.
And then get that. Because I know you even told me this before, but like in terms of like that stage in the sale, if you don't get that, like the entire rest of the sale is kind of effed, right?
Yeah, it's I mean, is it possible to close someone even if you don't have a good discovery? Of course. Like it's possible to close someone if you just get on a call and pitch them, right? It just makes your life way harder, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. And in terms of like so kind of going through this process again. So, obviously like, hey, welcome to the sale. This is what we're gonna do today. Situation questions, digging deep, and then going into goals and goal setting. Run me through like I've taken straight line. I bought his course back in a year ago. It's like
Yeah.
it was a good course. It was okay. I didn't like it that much, but he talks a lot about future pacing. Run me through like your kind of like process with future casting, future pacing for people in terms of like how to actually really build that vision with them and
Yeah.
like build that high on the sales call
Yeah.
so then you could tear it down later with the
Yeah.
consequence.
Yeah. Again, just how as Doug as you just how you were digging deeper in the situation, you got to keep digging deeper in the vision, right? Because someone can say, "Hey, I want a Lamborghini in a penthouse." That's awesome, man. Why? You just gotta understand why. Like you can want whatever you want. Why is that so important to you? How's your life gonna be different? Are you gonna be happier? Is your mom gonna be happier? Is your girlfriend gonna be happier? Like what's gonna happen when this happens? Like, why is this so important to you where you've taken 45 minutes a day to speak to me? You've been researching about it, you've been obsessing about it. Like, why is this so freaking important to you?
Mm,
And that's really what the vision is about. Key thing I'll give here, again, a cue from one of my mentors. Like there's like different types of buyers, right? There's some buyers who are moving away from pain, and there's some buyers that are moving towards pleasure. So you got to be able to recognize what kind of buyer that is. And again, you'll be able to recognize that in discovery. If someone is instantly talking about their goals and where they want to be and their situation isn't like too terrible, okay, so then they're more goals focused. There's still pain there because they haven't achieved their goal, but their pain is more associated with not achieving their goal. Versus someone who, has been burnt by trying, 500 fitness coaches and nothing's worked and whatever. They're more influenced by pain, getting away from pain, right? They've been fat all their life. They don't get any attention. They just don't feel good. They're trying to run away from pain. So got to be able to recognize that and focus a lot more on that on the sales call, right? And again, just dig deeper.
I see. So Okay, so I this is my first time kind of understanding this as well.
Mm.
So those two people going towards pain, is there going towards pleasure? Like, is there a different way to go about that, or is it just kind of just the same thing in terms of like, okay, this guy's been burnt before. It's kind of going to be the same as this guy who hasn't, but he's just trying to get towards that pleasure. Is it the same process, pretty much?
It's the exact same process, just the focus is different. If they're moving away from pain, then you want to focus a lot more on their current situation because that is the painful part, right? Like, of course, they
Hmm.
want to goal, but they're primarily moving away from pain. Versus someone who's just moving towards pleasure, like someone who, might be, 18% body fat, but they want to be bodybuilding ripped. Like they're moving towards pleasure. Like they already feel good, everything's good, right? A biz op example, if someone's like, I like my job, I just don't have the financial freedom that I want, right? So then that's like moving towards pleasure because like they're okay with their job. Like there's no real pain associated with here. And of course, there might be some. Like it's not just black and white as someone's only moving towards goals or someone's only moving away from pain. There's a mixture of both, but you got to figure out what the primary one is, and kind of attack with that. Someone who's moving towards pleasure, you focus a lot more on their vision. Someone who's moving away from pain, you focus a lot more on the situation.
I see. Okay. So just talking about the goal setting part, it's not, would you say that this part isn't like super complex? You're just kind of going into their goals and just like seeing which one of those character types they are and just building on it type of thing. You wouldn't like, what would you say there's any like really bad general mistakes that people make during this part of the sale? Or is it just like, hey, like, you know, this is
Yeah.
like, what's your goal?
The worst thing you can do is like feed them answers, right? Like telling them, like, oh, so you want a Lamborghini, right? Like that's why you're on. Like, never say I want a Lamborghini. I want to retire my mom. Like you want a Lamborghini, right? So like it's you can like feed them answers. Can you like kind of push them towards a certain answer if you do it correctly? But you got to leave them to tell you what they want. You can't tell them what they should want, right?
Hmm.
I feel like a lot of people might be doing that on a sale where they're like, hey, like, so obviously you're coming in here to, get that Chris Hemsworth body, right? Well, no, I just want to lose my dad belly, right? Like I don't want to be a jack bodybuilder, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
So can't assume, can't feed them answers. You gotta let them give you the answers. Um, yeah,
I see. I see. Okay. So I even do that a lot myself. Like what I'll do is, um, obviously like a big portion of sales is like regurgitating kind of what they've given you and summarizing it for them. And
yeah.
then you can kind of like assume and like add some spice, right? So like, um, hey Sham, or hey Ashton, I want to lose some weight, I want to look good, feel good, and then I want to be able to go and have fun with my kids. Oh, so you want to lose weight so then your kids will love you, or you can kind of like build on top of it a little bit more, and then get them, or not obviously not to that extent, but like you can build on, add some
No, no.
spice,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, 100%. And
Right?
like a great cue for that is like one of the closers I work with. He's a great cue. You just say, "I hate to assume," like, "Hey, Mr. Prosper, I hate to assume," and then literally assume,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And they'll tell you if you're wrong or right.
I see. I see.
Yeah,
Okay. Okay. So that's pretty much everything for the goal setting.
yeah,
And then next would be, I guess, just like barrier, consequence, and then closing or presentation, etc. So let's go
yeah.
into barrier and consequence then. So like, would you say there's general mistakes for this part of the sale in terms of barrier? Like, what's kind of your process with this?
Yeah,
Because right now we've built up the high of the goal, etc. Right?
yeah,
We know kind of why they're here, and the barrier is just what's stopping them, right?
yeah. So the thing I like to do is I quickly like to recap everything that happened. So I'm like, okay, so this is where you are, this is where you want to be, this is what this is gonna allow you to do. So
Hmm.
what do you think's been kind of holding you back from getting here? Like what's been the real blocker here? And they're gonna give you a lot of bullshit here, especially like B2C. They're gonna give you a lot of bullshit here, right? Um, like something I didn't have the time, I didn't have the energy, I didn't have the motivation, yada 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 yada. The stars didn't align, whatever, right? You want to get them to admit that not necessarily that it's their fault, but more so that uh, it was in their control, right? So let me think about how I want to phrase this. So pretty much, when I do a biz op sale, I'm asking them what's been kind of holding you back from getting here on your own, right? Oh, I didn't have the time. I never really found something I liked. Okay. You're telling me you did research for 2 years. You've been on tons of sales calls. You've been trying to figure out what you want to do, and for 2 years you haven't been able to figure out what you want to do. And then it
Hmm.
sounds stupid as fuck, right? So then like, oh no, 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 this happened. Oh no, I never found a good system I liked. Ah. So the system is the issue. So you're looking for the correct system, correct? Yes. Okay, what does the correct system look like for you? I want to be held accountable. I want to be jumping on one-on-one calls. I've been shown what to do. I don't know how to build a website, so I'm going to need help with that. I've never run an ad, so I'll need help with that. Perfect. So if you feel like you had this exact help that you're looking for, that you could get to your goal, oh, 100%, I would crush it. Perfect. And now you know what they want to get pitched to, right? So now you have ammo where when you pitch them, just frame your pitch around this stuff. Um,
I see. I see.
yeah.
Okay. And what would you say, like, in terms of that process, which you just explained for me there, like, are there general mistakes that people make where it's just like they will totally fuck up this part and they will kind of potentially lose the sale?
Yeah.
Like, what's general mistakes, things to avoid, etc.
Yeah, the thing to avoid would be to not do this part. Like you have to do this part to figure out why they haven't done it. Again, because it's just a gap you're creating in the sales process. So this is the gap. So you figuring out the situation, their goals. Yes, there's a gap there, but when you ask them why hasn't this happened yet, that's what's
Mm,
okay. This is where you are. This is where you want to be, and it hasn't happened yet. Why? Let's figure out what this gap is, and this is what you're selling. So you have to figure out what this gap is, right? If you're not doing this, then like I mean, there is a gap, but it's not too massive. You want to place it like this. Like, what is this, right? What is the gap here? Why hasn't this happened? And that's what we're selling.
I see. I see. Okay. And how big can you make that barrier? Is that like in terms of like how far you push, like in terms of like digging? Like how big do you try to stretch it? Because obviously there's a difference between like the absolute and then the relative,
Mhm.
right? Because on a sales call, like you can frame someone's situation to be at like 10 times worse than it actually is, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm making 10K a month and I want to make 20K a month. Oh my God, you're making 10K a month. You suck. You're a loser.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
Right? So
Uh,
like run me through, yeah, relative versus absolute. Like how far do you push it?
yeah. Again, you just want to take their word for it, right? If someone's coming on the call and they're telling you they feel like a loser making 10K, then dude, in their life they're a loser. So take their word for it, right? Like again, you're not
Yeah.
feeding them the answer, but they're telling you their truth. So live
Yeah.
it, right? How big can you make a gap? I mean, the bigger you make the gap, the more you can fulfill your service being the fixture to that gap, like that, the easier the sale is, right? So I don't think there's really a cue on how big you can make the gap. Obviously, I think within reason. I think everything has to be within reason. I feel like I have to say this because like people are gonna take this out of context where yes, someone is where they are and where they want to go. But if you're like doing this, like, if you're creating this gap and then you're reiterating the situation to them and you make it sound way worse than what they told you, that's resistance level going all the way up because they're like, dude, I didn't even fucking say that. Right?
Yeah.
Like you can't
Yeah.
like again, you have to that's why the situation and introduction agenda they're so important because you have to give that they have to give you the ammo. You can't give them the ammo, right? They
Hmm.
have to tell you how shit their situation is because if you tell them that when they haven't told you that, then they're offended. And I would be
Hmm.
offended if I tell you, hey, my life is pretty good. And like, okay, it sounds like your life is pretty shit. Like that's like doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess you're just taking the ammunition that they've given you from situation and the goals,
Yeah.
and then now you're just putting it in the gun during this
Perspective.
portion of the
Yeah,
sale.
exactly. Like you're showing them the barrel inside of the barrel. Like this is you. That's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Okay. So I guess if you don't gather enough ammunition, then good luck firing the gun type of thing
Yeah.
at this point of the sale, in a sense. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And then next would be, I guess, consequence,
Yeah.
consequence questions, right? So, I did do these for the longest time, and I don't really touch on these two. I only usually do one consequence question,
Yeah.
right? But run me through, like, yeah, what consequence questions really do. I guess it's just pulling them down rather than up, right?
Yeah.
Allowing them
Like
to see the negative.
yeah, it's basically creating some urgency, right? Like what does it look like if you just keep doing exactly what you're doing right now? That's about as simple as I keep it. I keep it one question too. What does it look like if you keep doing exactly what you're doing right now? Right? Sometimes I'll add let's say things stay the same or knock on wood, they get worse. What does that look like? All right.
Slow it down.
It's calm. You got to be calm because it's a serious question, right? Like you're like concerned for them here. Like, dude, like if your life sounds fucked, man, like what's gonna happen if nothing changes?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, one question as well. I'd keep it one question. Yeah.
Is there what are the mistakes that most people will make at this point of the sale? Because I've seen people totally bomb this, and I have a few personal opinions on it, but I want to hear kind of like
I would love to hear like how people bombed it. Because I don't really work with too many beginner sales reps anymore, right? So I haven't heard someone really bomb this one because it's one question. I don't know how you can really bomb it. I would love to hear your experience on it.
So I would say number one, tonality, and then number two, kind of going too far with it. So tonality, just like you do have to slow it down and be like, hey man, like we kind of went through your goals, etc. Like, you know, between me and you, right? You can hit them with one of those. A lot of people they'll be like, yeah, man. So like, what if you just keep doing what you're doing? Like that's not an emotion. You're not going to get an emotional response from that. You're going to get some resistance. So tonality number one, I would say these people fuck up on, and then number two, um, just going too deep. So like, yeah, like why don't like how would that feel? Oh, really? That would feel bad. Okay, okay, yeah. And then what if this happens even longer than you would expect? Like, and they'll just keep kind of like, and it kind of comes off corny in a sense. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm curious, like, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. I think with the tonality more than anything, the example you gave me, that what that tonality sounds like is you do not give a shit about me. That's it. That's it, right? Like from a
Yeah.
buyer's perspective, if I hear someone talk to me like that, I'm like, dude, you don't give a shit about me. You just want to get the sale. Like, get out of here. Give me the pitch. Let me think about it. I'll get back to you when I want. Right? That's what that sounds like to me as a buyer. Right? When you stop and you're concerned, like, dude, like, what does it look like if you just keep doing exactly what you're doing right now? Like, you're like, dude, what the fuck is going on? Like, we need to fix this. Right? It's
Yeah.
completely different tonality from, all right, it sounds like you need my product or service real bad, huh? Huh. But what does it look like if you keep doing what, like, dude, it's just like you're an asshole, right? That's just what it sounds like. Again, the resistance in the sales process is so high where the entire time all you want to be doing is pulling down the resistance. Same thing with digging too deep on this or staying on this for too long. Like you're creating more resistance than you think, right? If you just keep staying on here, they already admitted something bad is gonna happen if they don't make a change, right? So how bad would it really get? Oh my God, if it gets that bad, then what's gonna happen then? Like, dude, you don't need to know all this. That it's gonna get shit. Like, this is where you don't need to dig deep, right? You got him to admit that he needs to make a change. Perfect. Urgency is there, right? Um,
Yeah, like I'll tell you a quick story. First client I closed, okay? I was on this call. This was like it was kind of early in my sales process, but um, this gym and got him on a call, pitched him, and then he's like, "Yes, let's move forward. I'm ready to move forward." He was giving me like agreement, and I didn't close him there. So after the sale, he calls me when he was giving me the money, and he's like, "Hey man, there's this scene in Moneyball. Have you seen the movie Moneyball?
I haven't.
You should. It's a decent movie, but he's like, there's a scene in Moneyball, and it's pretty much when one of the contract players says yes, and he just hangs up the phone. Okay. He said this guy was telling me he's like, when you get yes, you don't need to go much farther than that. So like with consequence questions, like you get that they're like, okay, I need help.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. That's why I'm here, right? It's nothing more than that in sense of like, like digging, because with this it can come off a little bit like too much per se, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, okay. Okay. So that makes sense. And then next would be after consequence, I guess you're moving into some sort of like presentation or
Yeah,
some
I'm
sort of like
getting some commitments first. I'm kind of removing some objections,
commitments.
making sure, hey, you have the time to put into this. The process, what you're looking for is really a process. This is something you want to get started with now and not like 10, 12 months from now. Like are we on the same page? Yes. Basically, what
Mhm.
I'm doing, I'm just trying to kill some objections before they come up. Like the time, I want to squeeze the fuck out of the time objection here because I don't want to hear that after the call, after
I
the
see.
pitch. I'm just trying to kill some objections here. Yeah, I jump into the pitch, and then handle some objections and then collect some checks.
I see. So for commitment questions, it's like, why are you looking to even do this right now? Like, why not wait 6 months in the future? Like that
Yeah.
sort of stuff for
Yeah.
time. Like, would you be, if this is something that could help you, would this be something that you'd be willing to invest in, stuff like that?
Invest in, I'd kind of leave that part out because like if they've made it this far into the call, I mean they know it's a sales call, but I just kind of leave that because what I would frame that more than as is more than anything is like so if you had a process exactly like the way you described to me, this is something you want, correct? You feel like this is gonna help you with your goal, perfect. I'm just assuming that they're gonna pay me for that, right? Because obviously no one's gonna give them that process free. I just wouldn't use the word invest right now because I'm just about to ask them for money, right?
Okay.
So I just don't want to bring that up right now. Yeah.
And then this is before the presentation
Yeah.
still.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Um, Now I want to get into just presentation. This is going to be a little bit, I guess, more of a complex
Yeah.
topic, but presentation can, I think you can totally fuck the entire sale by not doing a good presentation. Um, a lot of people will go like way too long, and it will just be like you look at them on the screen and they're like zooming like zooming off, right? So for you, what's like an effective way to hit a presentation?
Yeah.
And if you can kind of think like more B2C, let's say fitness related,
Yeah.
that'd be sick.
Yeah. I think what Hermosi says, right? Like sell the vacation, not the flight, or something like that. Well, you
Hmm.
have to sell the outcome in the a presentation too, right? So instead of going super schizo on why fasting is the single best way to lose weight, just break down how fasting is gonna work for them. Dude, it's
Mm.
super sick. So we're gonna wake up at like, 9 a.m. We're gonna go to our work. We're gonna be surviving on sparkling water all day. It's gonna make you feel real strong, right? And then come around like, 6 p.m., you're gonna have a massive meal. You're gonna have steak, potatoes, you're gonna feel real full. And then in the gym, we're gonna work out twice a week. We're gonna hit heavy compound lifts, get that testosterone level up so you and Stacy can be back in bed together. Um, and then again, I'm just trying to kind of painting their goals with the process, especially with something like fitness. It's such an emotional sell, right?
Mm.
So emotional. Like fitness is not a logical sell. Like logic is there. You need to be healthy, right? It's just so emotional where I really have to put their goals into the presentation. Versus something
I
like
see.
even something like BizOps sales, like it is very emotional as well. But there's logic behind it because the ROI is monetary, right? Like if you do this process, you will make money. And B2B is super logical, right? Because if you do this process, if you pay me for this process, I will make you money or I will give you your money back. All right. Or this happens or something like this is super logical. So it's easier to justify buying here. It's easy, it's a little bit tougher to justify buying logic for BizOp. It's even tougher to give money to someone for you to look better.
Hmm.
There's no like monetary ROI with that. It's more of a social ROI and a self-improvement ROI. Right. So again, that has to be super emotional.
Yeah, it's a very subjective ROI. It's based on kind of how much the user will value it,
Yeah.
right?
And I
So,
think more than anything, I think that's probably worth a little bit more than monetary ROI, right? Like if someone is out of shape and they've never felt like what it's like to date a 10 out of 10 and they've never had a good dating life, they've never had a good social life, they've never been outgoing, like that sucks, right? Imagine like being 26, 27, 28, 29 years old and you've never had a life where you felt like the Chad. Like that is
yeah,
what you're selling them Chad status. Like that is such an awesome thing that they want,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Obviously, the guy's example, I know other people are selling different people. Uh, but yeah.
Yeah, no, 100%, right? Because you can kind of like for if you get their emotions high enough, like they'll kind of do anything you say, right? So, okay. So presentation, just kind of like tailoring. You mentioned tailoring. How long should your presentation be?
Good question. Mine is very long. Or I mean, it's subjective, right? Mine is like about like I would say about like 10 minutes, 10, 12 minutes, because I'm breaking down the business model. I'm breaking down how the process works,
Hmm.
breaking down the guarantees. I'm showing them inside of what the support system looks like.
Yeah.
Then I'm pitching them. I think with fitness, it can be much shorter, right? Because like, dude, how much is there to do it? Like, you're gonna diet in some way, you're gonna work out in some way, and you're gonna get enough sleep, and you're gonna eat these supplements, and it's simple.
Hmm.
Not much
Yeah.
process to it. It's just again more emotional and more of a selling the vacation, right? This is what this is gonna look like. You're not gonna be hungry all day at 6 p.m. We're gonna have a massive steak. You told me you love steak, right? Awesome. I'll make sure you eat tomahawk steaks every day and you get ripped.
Hmm.
Right?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. And is there a I find that if you go too much into detail, you can kind of lose the sale, especially for B2C. I know B2B is different. But specifically speaking, B2C, like run me through like your kind of perspective on that, like if you go too deep into it.
Again, like there's nuances to it, right? If someone's buying a biz op, they want to know what the process is. So I don't think, I mean, too deep would be like, okay, this is I'm sharing my screen. Let's run a Google ad together on this pitch. Like, yeah, okay, I'm not gonna go that deep into the process. But hey, we're gonna
Hmm.
need to teach you how to run a Google ad, right?
Hmm.
With something with fitness, I think you have to go even less deep into it because again, like, it doesn't matter why keto is so good, right? They want to know what's gonna happen with doing keto. Keto. Like the other diet they tried, they felt hungry all the time. With keto, they're gonna be eating cheese and meat all day and they're gonna feel amazing, right? Like with
Hmm.
they did low carb, this didn't work. Okay. Now we're gonna do, if it fits your macros. Like we're giving them amazing recipes where they're gonna be eating burgers and fries and chicken and they're gonna lose weight. Right.
Hmm.
So you don't have to go so deep into the process, you just have to get them to believe it's gonna work. Uh,
I see. And then okay, so getting them to believe that it works and then tailoring everything to them.
yeah.
So one guy's name is John, and John says he wants to lose weight so that he can have sex with his wife again. Okay. You're gonna tailor that presentation to his goals. Another person, you're gonna just tailor it to them. It's the same mechanism, but it's just outcome different. And
Yeah.
that's what you're doing presentation, correct?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. You have to, especially with such an emotional sale like that, you have to tailor it back to them, right? How is this going to benefit me? This is where the gap is already established, kind of filling in that gap, how we're going to help them achieve this. Yeah.
I see. Okay. And then another question would be about education for this stage. Um, I think I've personally lost a few sales back in the day when I was, or even not too long, like where I'll just try to educate them. And I hear some people be like, yeah, like that's fine. You could just go ahead, like just educate them. And some people are like, no, don't. Right? Like they get that when they join. So for you, like what's kind of uh, the threshold of education? Like, do you be like, hey, this is how things work. This is like, and you try to educate them a little bit, or is it just like, just kind of surface level, like this is how it works?
Yeah. Yeah. Again, it really depends, right? Because that's so subjective. For someone who's been in the world and like they've gone on sales calls and they've seen like I'm just gonna take biz off for an example because that's what I'm used to. Like if they've never heard of how to do an online business, me teaching them, me even telling them the process is me teaching them something, right?
Do you think that's valuable before they've bought though?
100%. 100%.
Yeah.
Especially with something like a biz op, like what am I buying? Right? Like I'm buying a business model that you're going to teach me. Well, how would I do it? Like what's going to happen after I give you money? I feel like that's the only reason why it's so important is because you're kind of showing them what's going to happen after they give you money, right? Versus something like fitness, I don't think you have to go super educational into it. That's what I was trying to say earlier. I think when you're selling a monetary thing, you have to kind of go into how this process is gonna give them their end outcome. With fitness, I just don't think you have to go that deep into it. At least it's my opinion.
I see. Okay. Okay. Because you've already built some emotional depth from the past, parts of
Yeah.
the sale.
Again,
Okay.
like when you're selling something that has monetary ROI, this is where like the logic base comes in as well, right? Like you're getting them to buy on emotion, but they have to justify it with logic, right? So this is the logical part where like, okay, this makes complete sense. Okay, I can do this. Um, yeah,
I see. I see. Because I have a lot of fitness coaches who they will get people who like slide into the DMs or get into their funnel, and
yeah,
then they'll just hop on a sales call with them, and then they'll be like, "Hey, how do you do this?" or "How do you do this?" Or then they will just kind of like, "Hey, yeah, this is how to, lose weight, or this is the foods to eat to increase testosterone." And then they educate them, and then education doesn't really sell from that point of view.
yeah. Like
So,
the framing of that call is wrong, right? You said the prospect came on the call, asked them question, like what kind of sales
yeah.
call, right?
Yeah.
Um,
So it's all the like before part of the sale. Okay. And then next would be just closing and collecting cash and then objections. This is the fun part. So um run me through like there's a million and one different closes. The ABC close, the assume close, like what is Shams close?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think I asked them if very important thing, I asked them if they have any questions before the pitch. Right? Does
Mhm.
everything make sense? This again, we're gonna get a lot of objections, which you would have to handle after the price drop. This is pre-price drop, after pitch, pre-price drop. I'm just getting them to tell me, hey, this makes sense, this looks good. And I'm
Mm.
giving some commitments here too. So is this something you want to be a part of? Is this something you want to do? Yes. Okay, cool. And like, this is kind of a cheesy question, but like, we kind of have to ask this. Like, on a scale of 1 to 10, one being like, I absolutely freaking hate Sham. I hate this program. I hate everything here, and I don't want to do this. And 10 being, I should have done this yesterday. Where are you? Oh, I'm at a
Mm.
7. Okay. Seven's good. Why exactly is it a 7? Like, what's so good about it? They're telling you what's good about it. Okay. What's kind of holding you back from being a 10? Right. And then
Mm.
again, more objections are coming out. Oh, this. Oh, this. Oh, this. Kill all that before the price drop, or as much as you can. Right. Like I'm
Mhm.
just gonna weed out what they're still uncertain about before I tell them the price.
I see. Okay, so you do that scale, 1 through
Yeah,
10.
feels good.
Why aren't you on a 10? What other ways would you, I guess, qualify
Not
that?
not like not so why aren't you at a 10? It's more like what's holding this back from being a 10? Like
For
like
sure.
not you this because this like it should be this, right? At this level, like they're deciding on the product and the service. So what's holding this back from being a 10? And most of the time, if you're doing a good job, they'll be like, oh, there's nothing really holding me back. It's just I'm just kind of scared of doing this stuff, right? Fear. Handle fear right here before after hearing the price, because the fear is only gonna go up after hearing the price, right? Like again, one of my mentors, like the thing he taught me is like once you drop the price, they've forgotten the rest of the call. Like once they hear, it's a one-time investment of $6,000, everything's gone from their head. Like they just forgot about their problem, the thing. Only thing ringing in their mind is $6,000, $6,000, $6,000, right? So that's why all this stuff is so important because they're about to forget everything in a second, right? But when they calm down after hearing the price drop, then you can circle back with everything they just told you, right? And like there's a bias, right? If someone's admitted to this, they're not just gonna stop admitting to it after they heard the price, right?
Mm.
That's why the sales
Hmm.
process is so important. Like, the only reason why we're getting all this ammo is because after hearing the price, that's when most people want to back out. We're like, hey, this was the case, right? You're like after the sale, you're bringing all this ammo that you had stored up and you're putting it in front of them. It's like, hey, is this not the case?
Hmm.
Right?
So I guess right after you say price, everything gets emphasized. If there was a small negative, it's now massive.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Okay. So what are the most common, would you say it's fear? I know you used the fear example of like, hey, you're at a 9, like, what's kind of holding you back from being a 10? Like at that point, you'll get a little bit of like resistance. Is it mostly fear-based or what's kind of for most people?
Yeah, fear based. I think B2C definitely most is fear. Um, Couple things, right? Fear of investing and then fear of failure. Right. I think
Hmm.
I think it's a mixture of both. Obviously, if you're selling a lower ticket thing, it might be a fear of failure, right? We're like, oh, I've tried to lose weight, it's never worked for me.
Hmm.
Right? So that
So
and fear of investing as well. Yeah.
So how do you, obviously that's a crucial step. How do you handle fear? Like what do you usually say at that point? Like what's stopping you from being a 10? Oh, okay, this fear. And then like what do you do once you kind of know, okay, fear. How do you get them to like not have that?
Yeah. I think again, this all comes back to earlier in the sale, right? Like it's like, okay, like let's say someone said they tried to lose weight like with keto and fasting and it didn't work.
Hmm.
And then you come right in like, yeah, I tried keto and fasting, it didn't work, and I'm not sure this is gonna work too much for me either. Yeah, man, I totally get it. Totally get it. Let me show you this, right? Like Sally, when she came to join us, that's where like case studies come in really important, right?
Yeah.
Like proof that it works, right? Like this, like Sally came to work with us, and she tried keto as well, and she lost like 10 pounds doing keto, and then she gained like 30 back, right? And she was so freaking heartbroken when she came to work with us. Um, but when she started doing the if it fixed her macros and she was able to eat whatever she wanted and she was, enjoying burgers with her kids at night and she was, getting amazing sleep and she was hitting, Pilates workouts that made her feel real good. Look at her now,
Hmm.
right? So if this can work for Sally, like why don't you think it'll work for you? Oh, I don't think it would work for me because of XYZ. Handle XYZ, right?
Hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
that's
Yeah,
where I
like
that's where I kind of lean on social proof a little bit.
okay. So if there's some sort of fear or mostly fear at that point, you're just gonna use social proof. There's a fine line though between social proof and then kind of coming off qualifying,
Yeah.
right? So for you, how do you go about presenting social proof? I've seen some of my fitness coaches where they will show social proof on a call and
Yeah.
it will come off horrible.
Yeah.
So for you, like what is your process of doing that in terms of like if there's fear, social proof, how do you do that?
Yeah, I think again, keep it chill, right? I'm just showing them, hey, like, obviously, you tried a bunch of stuff in the past and no, it's hasn't always worked. I just want to show you that, what our process has driven results for, right? For the channel. Okay. So Sally started at 260 pounds. She's at 160 pounds right now. She looks like a freaking supermodel, right? She's fitting in her high school prom dress, right?
Yeah,
Imagine if you could fit in your high school prom dress, right? Oh my,
yeah.
wish I could, right? So I'm just like showing them proof of. I'm not even saying this is gonna be you. I'm just showing look at what this has done.
Hmm.
And look at what this has done. So if it can work for all these people, why wouldn't it work for you?
Mm-hmm. Hmm.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So just showing logical proof, right? Like I know Jordan Belfort talks about logical proof, emotional certainty, and there's a few other factors as well. I know you took his course as well, so interesting stuff. Okay, and then you drop price, and then they get scared, and then they give you objections. Hey, Sham, I want to think about it.
Yeah.
Okay, run me through your philosophy because objections are probably like if you go on YouTube and look up sales, like objection stuff is the stuff that sells because like everyone's like so concerned about like objections when it's not really my philosophy on objections is it's not the objection, it's what you did for the rest of the sale that fucked it up.
Exactly.
Obviously, if you're in sales, you're going to have to deal with objections regardless though. So like there's no point in just focusing. Like obviously you can focus top of the sale, but you're still gonna have to regardless deal with
Yeah.
objections. Run me through your philosophy of objection handling, what most people do that's maybe wrong, how you go about it, etc.
Yeah, yeah, I totally agree with your philosophy on objections. Like you could follow the sales process perfectly and still get objections, but most of them can be avoided if you have a good sales process,
Of course.
right? So how do I go about it? You never want to fight fire with fire, and I feel like that's the biggest thing where a lot of people do. Like you hear an objection, like why? Why don't you want to pay me? Right? Like what's wrong with you? Right? Like like they're scared. You're asking them for a lot of money for what it is for them, right? And even if they do want it, it's scary.
Hmm.
Like you can't force them to do something they don't want to do. But the entire call has been them telling you they want to do this. So now it's up to you to show them why they should do it. So at this point, I want to keep it super chill because they've already told me why they want to do this, right? There's nothing I have to worry about. They have to worry about it because now they're coming at it with a different angle because they just told me the earlier 40 minutes of how much they need something like this. So I said, hey, let's say think about it. No worries at all. Totally get it, right? I like to think about when I want to buy things to make sense. Aside from just having a quick think about it, is there anything else holding you back?
Mm.
No, no, man, everything sounds good. This looks amazing. This is what I want to do. I just need to think about it. Beautiful, beautiful. I'm so glad everything sounds good to you, man. Let me just ask you this, right? And so neutralize, isolate, and then gain some commitments. Let me just ask you this. Do you think this process actually works? Like, do you think if you did keto with us, just like how Sally did, like, do you think this would actually work for you? And then they might give you like, yeah, yeah, objection right there, right? Unspoken objection. Even though he's saying or she's saying that, hey, everything sounds good, if they're not giving you that commitment, there's an unspoken objection right there about the process and about their belief level and the certainty level in this. So handle that first. Okay, but let's
Hmm.
say they say yes, everything this will work for me. Awesome. So you're telling me this will work for you. Do you have the 2 hours a week to go to the gym, follow a workout plan I'm going to make you, and really like, pack on some muscle? Oh yeah, I have 2 hours a week. Perfect. More than anything, do you think that, we can actually help you out? Oh yeah, I think you guys can really help me out. Okay, awesome. So, you're telling me that the process works, you have the time to put into it, and you think we can help you out. I just need to have a quick think about it, right? Yes. Okay, cool. Awesome, man. What exactly do you feel like you're still uncertain about?
Mm.
What exactly do you still need to think about? And just between you and I, and like off the record, like what exactly like you want to think about? I'm just trying to figure that out because you just told me you loved all these things. So, or even after all this, so okay, so it seems like you believe in the process, you have the time to put into it, you think we can help you out. So what's kind of holding you back? Right? And right here is if they continue giving you the same objection with no like real objection behind it, it's fear.
Mm.
It's just fear. They're scared to step outside of their comfort zone. And this is where you kind of have to give them a pep talk, big them up, kind of give them a little
Mm.
speech about how they need to step outside of their comfort zone, what kind of difference it makes when they don't step outside of their comfort zone. Basic stuff, I think. I think this is like probably the easiest part of the sale because this is like there's only so much you can do for handling objections, right? But like
I
the
see.
other part of the sale is like where the real selling is done. This is closing more than selling. Yeah.
I see. Okay, so I want to go through this kind of like start to finish, pretty much. So, most common objection, just in general, is what would you say the most common objection is?
For me, spouse. Spouse.
Oh, really, spouse. Okay, okay. I would say the think about it objection for me is up there. Um, let's go through both of those then quickly. Let's say someone says, "Let me think about it." So number one, obviously, just like you're not gonna fight fire with fire. You're just gonna kind of take cool, I totally get it. You got to think about it, or you want to talk to your wife, totally get it. And then you're going into some sort of isolation. So step
Yeah.
two would be isolation. So is it price that's holding them back, or is it some sort of certainty,
Yeah,
right? Something
exactly. I would
like
just say,
that.
aside from what you just told me, aside from speaking with your wife, aside from thinking about, is there anything else here? Right? Let's just forget about this for a second. Aside from the investment, let's just forget about this for a second. Anything else holding you back?
Okay. And then if they're like, yes, yeah, like, I don't know if the program will work for me. Like, how do you, is that kind of a red flag indicator of you fucked up the rest of the
Right away.
sale?
Right away. Right away. And maybe not even that you fucked up, is that right away they need more certainty.
Yeah,
Right away. Right. So what can you do for that? Well, there's a lot of things you can do. You can tell a personal story, you can give more social proof, you can talk about it like logically, like why, like, if you do this would happen. Like there's a lot of ways to do that. But yeah, you definitely need to address that ASAP because they're not certain they're not going to pay you, right? It's just like it's not going to happen.
I see. Okay. So that's you're saying that's uncommon to get that at that point of the sale.
Oh,
You've probably
yeah.
messed up.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
not uncommon. Like it happens. I've seen it in like countless sales calls, even my personal ones. But yeah, it's definitely an indicator that something was not done well in the earlier part of the call. Sometimes you can do a call good and you can still get
mhm.
that, which is
I see.
okay, right? It's all nuance. Sales is all nuance. It's not a one size fits all.
I see. And then you mentioned story. Are you just kind of like telling a story that relates to them? So if they're like, "Oh yeah, I'm not super sure about this," you can kind of tell a story about a prospect or a story even about yourself or something like that. Or
Yeah, basically showing them, hey, like this is where I was. I was in a very similar position to you. I decided I had to make a change for myself because I literally couldn't live with myself. Um, it was so freaking scary. It's scary, right? Get them to me. Yeah, it's scary. I know it was so scary for me too. Like I'm shitting my jocks, hearing about a $500 investment, right? Like so much money to me. Um, but I decided like, what else am I gonna do? And if I just like again, like we spoke about, if everything stays the same, like what does that look like? So I kind of had that talk with myself and I decided to take this leap of faith. And the thing I did was I committed to it every single day. I just showed up, I followed what I was told, I just did it every single day. And I'm so glad I did it because now this is what I have. Right. None of this was an accident. I had to work really hard for it, but like it's doable if you're willing to do it. Right. So for you, let me ask you this. Like, when was the last time you had a massive change in your life without stepping outside of your comfort zone? Never. Never, right? Yeah, exactly. So, like, why would this time be any different?
mm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, that's sauce right there. That's sauce. You just NAPQ'd me. Okay. Yeah. No, that's so really just digging a little bit, also telling a story, and then just relating it to their personal kind of like objection,
Yeah.
barrier, goals, etc. Okay.
In the objection handling, you can also decide how schizo aggressive you want to go, depending on how good a rapport you build. Right? If I'm with a guy and like super like best buddies with him on the call and like he really likes me, I can go a little more aggressive on him than compared to someone who's super cold and standoffish. Right? Because that's just gonna kind of throw them off. But this guy who really views me as an authority figure, this guy who really respects me, um, I can kind of tell him he's being a bitch a little bit, not too much, just a little bit, right? Um, but yeah, that again, nuances, right?
I see. I see. Okay. So yeah, let's say someone's been watching you for a while, you have authority. You're just like, dude, like honestly, like what is your way of confronting that guy?
Yeah, someone I have more authority with. Like the only time I would bring out the schizo side of me is when I keep getting the same objection, I can't get over it, right? And it's just like, okay, it's just buy or die at that point, right? So at that point, I'm just like, hey man, it just doesn't seem like you're that ready for it. No, no, I am ready for it. I promise. Like, this is something I want to do. Why? Just get to re-justify everything. It's the whole process again. I want to do this. Why? Okay. So then, man, like, what's kind of holding you back again? Dude, I'm telling you, man, it's just I'm scared, man. I don't know if I can do this. Dude, of course you're scared. Of course. Like, you've
Hmm.
never done something like this, man. So like, do you think I got here by not taking massive steps like that? No. Again, like I never go too schizo on anyone, right? I always like to keep nice and chill, but I can just kind of turn it up, the heat up a little bit more, where I'm just kind of a little bit more aggressive with it. Uh, yeah.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Okay. And is there a point ever on in a sales call where you um will just kind of like agree, or do you like with their objection, or do you just kind of be like I'm gonna sell them or like bye bye type of thing?
No, no, depending on the buyer. I usually have a pretty good eye for seeing who's someone who's serious, who's not. It's just kind of like an intuition I've built after taking like thousands of calls. So the ones who are serious, I will push for a second call and just book a tie down call, send them some resources in the meantime. I think shout out Devontae if Devontae's watching this. He gave me a really, really good way to handle the spouse objection, right?
Hmm.
Because if it's really like a permission based thing, like they need the spouse's permission or they need like their support, like it's necessary for them to move forward, nothing you can do. Or like if that is like if that's not a smoke screen, if that's an actual blocker, there's nothing you can do. So you have to book a second call. And then when you book a second call, what you want to do is record a Loom video going over the full call again, like the full sales process that you went through in just a 5-minute Loom video, breaking down the process, breaking down the husband's goals, why he hasn't been able to get here, how much he respects the spouse, how much he respects the wife, and he wouldn't make a decision without her. And he wants to do this so much because he wants to look sexy for her and everything like that. Just want to big up the wife, break down the process for her, break down the guarantees, whatever, and send that Loom video. Because think about it this way, right? You couldn't close the guy on buying right now. How do you think he's gonna close the spouse on buying right now? He's not. He's
Not
gonna
gonna
need
happen.
he's gonna need your involvement, right? So you send him that sales asset. That's pretty much what it is, right? You send him a sales asset. Hey, like before you tell your wife about this, make her watch this, and then you can talk to her about it. Because you are gonna do a better job explaining your service than he will.
Of
So you
course.
might be the one to explain it to her first, and then he can kind of talk to her, right? And then before even anything, like I book a tie down call before they leave. I like totally fine. You want to speak to your wife? Here, I have my calendar pull up. Why don't you pull yours up? When should we connect again? I book a time and I get them to accept it. Okay, amazing. In the meantime, what is your spouse's name? Okay, it's Stacy. Perfect. I'll record an awesome video for Stacy. I'll give her some context on the stuff. You can watch it with her. You guys can have your discussion, and then we'll chat again on Friday at 6 p.m. Sound fair? Perfect. And then just go.
I see. Okay, so what percentage of spouse objections do you let go and do that versus you actually try to solve on the call?
I'd say about 60-40. 60% I have to tie down.
Okay, okay. And
40%
then
is a lot though. Like 40% of it being smoke screen, because a lot of time it is smoke screen. There's a difference between I need to talk to my spouse and I'm not too sure about this, so maybe I'll speak to my wife about it, but I'm not really even too sure about it, so let me talk to my wife. Those are two different things, right? Uh,
so for that 40%, run me through your spouse objection spark notes.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, so Mr. Prospect, like, are you just so we're on the same page and I'm, clear about what you're looking for? Are you more looking for permission or support on this? Oh, I'm just looking for support. Like, I don't need her permission to do this. Okay, got you. But let's just say for an instance, like, she says no. Like, what do you do then?
Hmm.
I'll still do it anyways. Okay, perfect. Let's do it then.
You just say that, let's do it.
Okay, perfect. Sounds like, you're gonna do it regardless. Why don't I just get you signed up? You can be in the program and you can show it to her what it looks like instead of just talking about it. Um, and you're doing it regardless, right? Get them right there, or get like a micro commitment, maybe a deposit, maybe something to show their commitment. Um, anything, right? Just trying to get something for them to commit. But that's like a hard one, right? Like a spouse abduction is tough because it's hard to tell when it's a smoke screen. It's hard to tell when it's like an actual logistical problem, right? So you kind of have to have like a bit of an eye for it, and you develop that over time after just taking so many calls, right? Um, Yeah, but even then, like I fuck it up sometimes too, where I'm like, okay, this sounds like he just needs to speak with her, but he's not giving me a deposit, he's not giving me any commitment, he doesn't want to start right now. Like, what is it? Right? In those moments, it's really hard to tell. Like, I just closed a guy last night, right, where he was like, hey, I need to speak to my wife. And like I was like 99.9% sure it was a logistical concern where he just wanted to let her know. But I was like, why would she say no? He's like, she wouldn't say no. And I'm like, what if she says no? He's like, I'll do it anyways. I'm like, okay, let's do it. He's like, no, I just want to talk to her. Like in that moment, you kind of have to make a judgment call. I'm like, okay, I believe this guy's a buyer. I believe his intent, or I don't. And if you don't, then
Hmm.
try and sell him on it first before you try and handle the wife, right? As long as you believe his intent, I was like, all right, cool. Let's speak later tonight. I'll send you over a Loom video. Sent him over the Loom video. He watched it. If that night, right?
And is that just straight gut intuition, or like how do you judge that?
I think I judge it based on how the call went, how
Hmm.
serious they are. how sold they are on the process, how many objections they gave me, like all these things, and then obviously the gut as well, right? Um,
Mhm.
everything like that.
I see. Okay. So just kind of seeing his level of commitment throughout the call, right? And if he's giving you responses that are worthy of like some sort of like, okay, this guy's like genuinely invested and he wants to do this. Got you. Got you. Okay. And then you book the tie down and then take it from there. Okay. Let's say you don't think that it is that wife objection and that's a smokescreen.
Mhm.
What are you doing then? You're just gonna continue and just kind of go for it or just like bye-bye type of thing.
Yeah, yeah. If I think it's a smoke screen and like they're not serious about it, I just
Yeah.
like really part it down. I'm like, dude, it just doesn't seem like you're ready for it.
Yeah.
If they're not, they'll tell you, hey, like maybe that's right. And then you just let them out. Because again, you can't force someone to buy. You can only sell to someone who wants to buy. That's just the reality, right? You can't sell ice to an Eskimo.
Yeah.
You can't. It's
Yeah.
just, I mean, I mean, I guess you can. It's just dumb as fuck, right? Um, yeah.
I see. I see. Very interesting. Let me ask you this. Do you have any, this is kind of a little off topic, but specifically for objection handling, do you have any specific stories that you would like to share to the audience that could be of value? Like it could be horrible mistakes that you've made. It could be just like when you were, I guess, starting out. I don't know, something interesting about objection handling.
Yeah, yeah. It's funny. When I first started doing sales for my own fitness packages over like through TikTok leads, I didn't know anything about sales. Like I didn't know what a sales process was. I would simply get them to book into my Calendly on a 15-minute slot, not 50, 15-minute slot. I would get on the call, be like, hey, what's your name? Awesome. So this is what I do. This is the price. No discovery, nothing, just pitch, price. Is this something
Yeah.
you want to do? Yes, let me think about it. Okay, awesome. Let me know. That's what I used to do, right? So that's what I started. And since then, like the funniest thing that happened to me on a sales call, at least when handling objection, was I had this one prospect, right? And he was trying to pay and his card declined,
Hmm.
right? And he gets a call from the bank because it's a large amount, right? And when you're spending that much money on a credit card, like your bank's gonna want to make sure it's you spending the money. And then I see his wife in the corner, like whispering to him, like literally in like the corner of the camera. He hangs up, and he looks so sad. He hangs up. That was like the funniest thing.
Uh,
We had an amazing call. He was like, "Dude, I'm paying right now," and the card declined because obviously like, he's spending so much money, right?
yeah.
It's like, get off the call. Like, dude, I'm sorry, I have to go. Boom.
I just didn't pay.
Yeah,
Just bye-bye.
yeah.
Fuck. Fuck. That's crazy. And how were your with fitness? Like, how were your sales with like, did you get people or was it just like, hey, because that could be effective. Just like, hey, like this is what I do. Like, do you want it? Yes or
Let's see.
no?
Yeah, I did close people. I closed like 5 people, but it wasn't anything
Okay.
crazy. It was like $500 packages, nothing like too expensive. Um, yeah, so I closed like 2.5K worth of sales from that. And then yeah, I just don't like the fulfillment of it. Honestly, I like the sales aspect. I'm not too big of a fan of the fulfillment. So just kind of stopped doing that. Yeah. But yeah,
Yeah.
I definitely got on the call. I was like, dude, this is what I do. Is something you want to do? Yes, perfect. Okay, cool. What's your credit card? Boom. Okay, cool. Something you want to think about? Totally fine, man. Let me know. Boom. Next one. Okay, cool. Because like TikTok, I was getting so many leads at that time where I was like, I don't give a shit, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. No, exactly. I had this one guy once. This was like 2 months ago. Jumps on a call. We talked for like 40 minutes. He he over qualifies, and I was kind of getting like a little bit like suspicious. Um, and then end of call, he's like, he picks up his fucking niece. He's like, "Yo, look at my niece. Look, she's here. Oh, look, she's over." And then he puts her down on this like toy or I don't know, like this play
Sure.
thing, like the little Tykes carts.
Sure.
She's playing on it, and then he's like, "No, no, don't touch that." And then you see like his hand toggle to the mouse, and then he presses leave. Like, shit like that is just so funny. But
It's super funny. And I feel like it's something that's really, really helpful is like if you're doing sales alone, it's so easy to get bummed over something like that. Like I just worked so hard on that sale and the guy left because his wife whispered to him. Or you worked so hard on that sale and he left because whatever, bullshit, right? It's so easy to kind of let that get to your head and let that affect your next call. But when you have like people you can kind of joke around with, like if you have like, gym owner friends and you guys are all doing sales all day, like make a group chat, like talk there, right? Talk about the funniest thing that happened that day. It just makes the process so much more bearable, compared to just taking all this on your own. Like, dude, I needed that sale. Like when you need a sale and you don't get it, like that is a heartbreaking feeling. But if you can just laugh it off, yeah, makes life a little easier.
Yeah, no, exactly. Do you think, just kind of wrapping up here, do you think that, I guess it's more philosophical, but like I know Alex Hormozy talks about like if you come from the point of like needing a sale and like it's kind of an energy thing, it can kind of come off as like needy in a sense, maybe not even consciously, but like it's just an energy and a vibe
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
So like, what are your thoughts on kind of like, you know, just frame of mind, spirituality around kind of like, where to be as a person when you're trying to like go about this conversation.
Yeah, I think when I first started, I was very, very nervous before I got on calls. Like that's what I used to be. I like sometimes I would hope like, damn, I hope this guy doesn't show up because I don't want to talk to him. You know?
Yeah.
Um, I think the more you do it, the more you realize it's just about being present, right? Just I'm here to help this person solve a problem. I can't get them to, like it is not in my control if they buy or not. The only thing in my control is I will lay out the facts. I will show them how the process helps the facts that are laid out, and I'll try my best to get them to do the right thing. That's it. And when you have really high intention per call and really low attachment per call, that's what allows you to be able to take like 8, 9 calls a day and not feel like burnt out, right? Because
Mm.
you're hearing no, 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 think about it, wife, thing, no, no, no. It's like, damn, like I can't fucking close the door, right? But you're like, hey, if I listen back to my calls, okay, I did this good. Okay, this is something I could improve on. Just like focusing on yourself, right? Um, like if you look at any professional athlete, like they're not blaming the other team for being better. They're blaming themselves on how they could get better. Right? So I don't think
Mm.
anything productive. Like, of course, there might be some bullshit prospects, right? Of course, it happens. But I don't think that's anything productive for you, right? So what? What could you have done better? And not even saying if you did that thing better, you would have closed the sale because you might not have, but what could you have done better? And I think if you just came in with that frame of mind, you are super chill, you're super present on the call. More than anything, you're just super chill, right? Like, dude, like you're not going to war. You're about to make money.
Yeah.
It's
Some
okay.
people go to, yeah,
Yeah.
they're just like, I'm gonna close you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I
Crazy.
think when you do that, it's like it's just kind of disgusting. Like as in like in the perspective of a buyer, right? Like, I'm just kind of repulsed by your energy about just wanting to get me in your thing so hard. Pause. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, okay, well, we'll end it there. Um, thank you, my friend, for spitting some sales game. I hope if you've made it this far, we talked for like an hour and 15. If you made it this far in the little podcast in this conversation, I thank you for watching. Do you have any final remarks before I stop the recording?
Yeah. Close hard. Go and close. That's what I'm gonna leave the people with.
Close hard. There we go. Okay. Gonna stop the recording.